Good day, everyone. My name is Rebecca Aibado, and we are the Group 1. And now we're going to discuss the Chapter 3. It is all about program outcomes and student learning outcomes. Together with my group mates, they are Aban Vanessa, Aban Armijan, Aguilar Jana Maika, Albius Ari Mark, Aldamia Jezebel, Alipola Patty Angela, Oligarbes Leah Lorgie Ann, Badarovijan, Balikov Sheila, and Bandibas Rosaline. So learning outcomes. First is clarify the program outcomes for teacher education. Second is distinguish the 6 levels of knowledge under the cognitive domain. Next is discuss the psychomotor categories and the psychomotor domain of objectives contributed by Samson Dave and Harrow. Next is discuss the 6 levels of learning objectives in the affective domain arranged hierarchically. And lastly, discuss the Kendall's and Marzano's new taxonomy. And for our introduction, in this chapter, you will distinguish program outcomes from learning outcomes. Learning outcomes in the 3 different domains, which is the cognitive, psychomotor, and affective. You will also be introduced to Kendall's and Marzano's 5 level of processing information and mental procedure and psychomotor procedure. And now, I'm going to discuss about program outcomes and student learning outcomes. When we say program outcomes, are the knowledge, skills, and abilities of students should possess when they graduate from a program. And student learning outcomes is specify what student will know, be able to do, or be able to demonstrate when they have completed or participated in a course or program. The shift of focus in the education from content to student learning outcomes has changed teacher instructional perspective. Teacher instructional perspective, it is how the teacher organizes time and activities and implementing the concept and plan. In the past, teachers were often heard about their concern to finish their subject matter before the end of the term, maybe because of the number of their student failure to clarify the desired learning outcomes. So teacher concern for outcomes was secondary to the completion of the planned content for the subject. In short, teachers were more content-centered than outcome-centered. So when we say teacher content-centered than outcome-centered, because before teachers are more focused on the content within that specific subject. For example, every quarter they have 10 topics or lessons that they need to finish. So they don't even matter if their student really understand of what they are discussing. The most important things for them is they need to finish their topics within that quarter. They are focusing on the subject matter, not the performance of the student. Now, the new educational perspective requires teacher to visualize idea, graduates in the 3 or more years from graduation and the right after completion of the program. For example, graduation time as stated in the institutional outcomes and program outcomes. The Commission on the Higher Education, the body of regulates of higher education in the Philippines, it is the Memorandum Order Number 20, Series of 2014, requires the following program outcomes for all the higher education institutions. This is the ability to, first, articulate and discuss the latest development in the specific field of practice. This means that the student will be able to know and how to discuss in their own. This memorandum requires to every student in the higher education can acquire that skills or ability to develop. Next is effectively communicate orally and writing using both English and Filipino. This means that the student will be able to communicate orally through English and Filipino. English and Filipino, very simple concept and teaching. We must be able to express ourselves as a high production of education to share our own knowledge, and we can write through English and Filipino. And also, mastering other language is a high point because it can help us to grow more in learning things. C is work effectively and independently in multidisciplinary and multicultural teams. So this means that the student can be able to work independently in multidisciplinary, means that the student will perform their own, and the student must know on how to research or discover in their own or learn in their own. So nowadays, we are focusing on the student learning outcomes, which focuses on the performance of the student. For example, the given topic or discussion, and then the student will perform either through essay activity that will apply their content. Next is the act in recognition of professional, social, ethical responsibility, and preserve and promote Filipino historical and cultural heritage. This means that the student learn from the school will apply to his or her life as a professional from social skills and ethical. Some program outcomes are based on the type of higher education institution of HEI because this determine the focus of purpose of the HEI. For example, graduates of professional institution demonstrate the service orientation in the one's profession. To those who graduate within that institution must need to know on how to demonstrate what the profession he or she finished. Let's say, for example, if you graduate in education, you must know on how to teach the student. Not only that you finish that specific program without enough knowledge on how to perform. Next is graduate of college participate in various types of employment, development activities, and public discourse, particularly in the response of the needs of the communities one service. It means that those students who graduate in college, they need to know on how to perform what they learn on the need of the community. Next is the graduates of universities participate in the generation of new knowledge in the research and development projects. So graduates of university is to be seen as a researcher and develop a quality of program to establish a new study in the society. They are the learner want to make an advancement into our own community. Like for example, people wouldn't have no water, so they need to conduct a case study why this community has a problem of water. Next is graduate of state university and colleges must, in addition, and have the competencies to support national, regional, and local development plans. So national plans, example, the Philippine, how you will be able to make own decision and make development more beneficial and more productive in everybody's life. So the regional plans, these are the plans for regional has a different way, like manufacturer companies, how this can be more developed and adding more products and having sufficient prices in the market, and your customers will enjoy the quality of goods and services in the company. And the local plan, sustainable supply for every community. So the program outcomes and student learning outcomes, it is focuses on the learning of the student from the school or after he or she graduate or finish their program, and can be able to apply of what they learned and can be also help to the needs of our community. And that's the end of my report, and the next reporter will be Bado Robijan. I'm going to discuss about program outcomes for teacher education. That's all, and thank you.